Welcome to Pretty and Dangerous. I'm Mazzy Mayhem, and this is my little corner of the internet for misfit girls, gays, and theys, and anybody in between who love to gossip about fictional characters and rant about society and kind of have a love hate relationship with romance, or maybe just love to hate in general. Um, I don't really think I had a very normal childhood, so I feel like I missed out on a lot of girlhood, childhood, teenage experiences, and I'm trying to make up for it now in my 20s. Love that. Maybe some of you can relate, maybe some of you just want to relive the childhoods. Either way, this is our place and we can do whatever we want here. So grab some popcorn, get a face mask, get cozy, and let's dive into the drama. Before we get into our topic, I kind of just want to talk about me for a second, to be honest. And what I've been up to recently. I just want to let the world know that I went to London with my sisters the other weekend by ourselves. That's the furthest away I've ever travelled without my mom. To be honest, it was very fun. We had an amazing time. We caught the train to London. I do want to say, for all the people that lied to me about using the London Underground and how easy it is, it's not easy. It's really not that easy. Unless you already know what you're doing and where you're going, it's not that easy. If you go into it like we did, which is blind, like we had no idea what we were doing, not really much of a clue where we were going, it's not easy. It's very stressful actually. Nobody tells you there's different parts of the underground. Nobody tells you that you might have to walk 3 blocks away to get to the part that you need. Nobody says that to you. Maps are not clear, signage isn't clear, you know. You could say, well, you could just ask somebody. As if we would just walk up to somebody and ask, as if we would just do that. Are you crazy? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, once we did finally find where we needed to go, because we did end up having to ask somebody, and we got to our hotel, it was smooth sailing from there. It was very fun. We had such a nice time. We went to see Ethel Cain. That's the reason we were in London. We bought tickets to go see Ethel Cain. Um, Very fun. The best part about, almost the best part about doing anything, honestly, is putting some music on, having a bit of a drink, and doing your makeup with your girls. And for me, the girls are my sisters. So one of my younger sisters has just turned 18, so she can legally drink with us now. Yeah, very fun. Um, the honestly, the whole night was really beautiful. Like, just the music, like the atmosphere, the ambience, beautiful. It was an amazing, amazing night. I cried the whole time. Yeah, of course, Miss Inhedonia played, like she sang Willoughby Tucker, I Will Always Love You, the entire album. Dust Bowl was insane. Like, the lighting, and there's just something about live music that's just crazy. I don't know how to explain it to people. Like, you just feel it inside. It's like when I listen to music, I need it vibrating inside my head. When you go see music live, you actually get that experience. Um, you can feel the music vibrating up your crack, basically. And that's what I need. That's what I want this whole time. That's what I've been wanting. Yeah, but the set was really pretty. She had like the microphone was on this giant cross. The lighting was amazing. Like the whole thing was very dark and very moody lighting. Lots of fog and mist everywhere. And I'm not gonna lie, the whole like performance, it and like the people in the crowd, the whole thing does feel a little bit like a religious ceremony. I'm not gonna lie. And that kind of adds to the ambiance. You know, it's just a whole experience, really. Um, but yeah, The only thing that I will say about that entire trip that was awful was traveling back, because we had to get out the hotel at 10, let's check out, and then our train wasn't until 12, and then so we were waiting around for 2 hours. Then it's 2 hours on the train back to Birmingham, and then once we get to Birmingham, we then need to get another train back to where we live, and then from that train station, we need to get a taxi back to our actual house. The whole thing is just long. It's just really, really long. It's just overwhelming, uncomfortable. Like, when you're traveling there, it's not too bad because you've got the excitement and like the event to look forward to. But when you're traveling back, it's just hell because you've got nothing to look forward to even, and it's just like, bro, I'm actually over it. Actually, I don't even want to be here anymore. Like, it gets to that point, and everybody just gets moody, and it's just like, why did we do this? Anyway, that's what it's like in my family. And traveling just sucks anyway. Like, can I just teleport now? Thanks. When are we gonna involve teleportation? Or when are we gonna invent teleportation? Like, forget self-driving cars. Can you invent a teleportation machine? Please and thanks. Like, we invest in that. Musk. Anyway, so this is actually the second concert we've been to this year. We went to see Miss Lana Del Rey in the summer, and then and then we've seen Ethel Cain, and then we go to see another band called the Birthday Massacre, and we're seeing them in Sheffield. So I'll let you know how that goes. It's gonna be very fun. I'm going with my sisters again. We're traveling again. Yeah. But yeah, can't wait for that. It's gonna be so exciting. I'll let you know. But yeah. Anyways, how are you guys? How's the English weather treating you? Is it damp and cold enough? Are you miserable? Is that seasonal depression here? Same. Um, can't wait for next summer. I do like the cold months aesthetically, but actually, it's just cold and uncomfortable. Like, I do really want to enjoy, like, autumn is actually my favorite season, and autumn's not too bad, but by the end of winter, it's just dragged too long. I need the sun again. Like, I haven't felt happy in months because I haven't seen the sun. I haven't even got an ounce of vitamin D. Yeah, the whole thing's just long. But yeah, let's dive into our topic. I'm sure everybody's waiting for that. Nobody watches these videos. This video is the only video. Yeah. Okay, so before we actually talk about the topic, I just want to say, I have some notes that I might be referring to a lot just because this is kind of awkward for me because I'm just not used to it. Like talking, especially talking to a camera, and I forget what I'm gonna say a lot, and it's just like so I've just written some things down a little bit to help me along if I forget or if I feel awkward. I spent ages writing these notes. Um, that's kind of a little bit what it's gonna be like anyway, just because the way I want to do the reviews and commentary is that, like, I'll sit down and I'll watch the TV show or I'll read the book, and as I'm reading it or watching it, I'll make notes, and then those are the notes that I'm going to use in these videos. Kind of like a book club or a movie club. Like, you guys can do the same thing if you want, and like share your opinions in the comments or your thoughts in the comments, and then we can just like talk about things. Like, that's kind of what I want. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's get into it. Right. So, we're talking about the summer I turned pretty, which is what I spent the whole summer watching, basically. Because this summer I had to catch up on season 2 and season 3. Today we're going to be talking about season 1. I did watch season 1 like a while ago, so I can't remember a lot of it, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I do remember some of it, and like that's where everything starts. But yeah, so like the summer I turned pretty was kind of, even for me, it was kind of like nostalgic, even though I'd never actually experienced anything like that. Like, I've never actually had like a summer beach high school romance, you know? But it still felt like that's what, as a teenager, I expected summer to be like, you know? I don't know why. It just feels like that. Like, summer's supposed to be at the beach. Summer, when you're 16, you're supposed to have a crush on some guys. I never did, but I felt like I was supposed to, you know? And I think that's what makes watching it so fun. Because it's like you get to live, or like live out through fantasy like what you feel like you should have lived. At least for me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me thing. Like it's giving the whole vibe of the show is giving like innocent high school romance. Um I'm scared this is gonna fall down. It literally just fell down. I'm scared it's gonna happen again. Um, yeah, like innocent high school romance, but like half the time, you want to scream, Belly, get it together, please, please, get it together. Like I'm being serious now. Put it together, you know. But then it's kind of cute and it's kind of chaotic, and like it's just teenagers at the end of the day, and nothing is really that serious, and the show's not real. So let's always remember that this isn't real. These are just my opinions. Okay. But yeah, so I watched it and I immediately thought, like I was saying earlier, this is the kind of thing that girls think is supposed to happen to them, and it looks cute on screen and everything, and it's definitely fun to watch. Um, but in real life, it's not like that, you know? Which is kind of what makes it so fun. Yeah, my favorite combo. Anyway, for those of you who haven't watched The Summer I Turned Pretty, it's about Belly, who's like this kind of like sweet, awkward main character girl who spends her summers at her mom's best friend, Susanna's beach house, with Susanna's two sons, Conrad and Jeremiah Fisher. The Fisher brothers, aka Connie Baby and Jer Bear. But yeah, and obviously, in case you didn't guess, there's like some kind of love triangle going on between Conrad and Belly and Jeremiah and Belly, not between Conrad and Jeremiah, because they are brothers, and that would be very, very strange. You know? Why did I say that? Anyway, but yeah, like the season one kind of describes it, or like you get the feeling that Billy feels like she spends her whole life waiting for these summers because like they're the highlight of her life. Like they feel so magical, and it's like they go away to Susanna's beach house and they live in this like alternate universe where everything's perfect, and Belly gets to be with Conrad because Belly's had a crush on Conrad since forever. But yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it. But yeah, it's kind of basically like sad boy slash bad boy Conrad meets golden retriever Jeremiah meets main character syndrome Belly, you know? And she can't decide between them. That's the whole gist of it, really. There you go. You don't even need to watch it anymore. Pause there. But yeah, so I originally wanted to watch the show because I read the first two books like ages ago. Um, and then when I saw the show, I was like, oh my god, I have to watch it. But at the time, only season one was out. And like this is when season one first came out. So I watched season one, fun, loved it. And then I forgot about it until this summer, and this summer's when season three came, and I was like, oh my god, there's season two and season three. Can't be asked to watch season one again, but I definitely want to watch season two and season three. So I skipped season one and didn't rewatch it, which is why I can't really remember it. But yeah, and like I said, or like basically the theme of this whole thing to me has been like it just feels like nostalgic to me. Like it just feels like a little bit of girl in like a bottle with some sand, you know? Like it feels cute. It feels like girlhood is literally the only way I can describe it. Is it healthy? Remains to be seen, you know? Um and I never really used to go for like rom-coms, and like that genre was never really my thing. But recently, I feel like I've started taking liking to them just because I don't know if it was internalized misogyny or what, or just the way that I was raised. But like things like rom-coms or like really girly things like that, when I was younger, like I just had no interest in it. So I would just kind of think it's boring. Um, but I've kind of realized there's a whole lot more to the genre of like rom-com. It's not just about like romance between two people. It literally, usually rom-coms kind of dive deep into the connections between human beings. The genre of rom-com is a lot more to do with not just love, but like how people navigate love, how people's decisions and choices actually affect their relationships and the people around them, like friendships, growing up, and like basically it's a genre about human beings and connection. And I think that's so much more special than just like a chick flick. Like obviously that's misogyny, but I think for a long time I had like internalized misogyny around things like that. Um and I'm realizing they're actually fun. But also like my upbringing, like I didn't watch stuff like that. I didn't really watch stuff at all. Um so there is that element to it, you know? Sorry about that. I literally just threw the microphone, you know? But yeah, now let's talk about my favorite characters because I have two favorite characters. The first one is Laurel. I just love a mom. I love a mother character. Um, Especially one that's written well or one that isn't like perfect, because there is so much pressure in society to be a good mom, and it's like there's no manual to be a good mom. So to me, a good mom is a mom who's there for her kids no matter what. And I feel like Laurel is. She's not always perfect at it, and she doesn't always do it straight away, but in the end she comes through for her kids, and that's what makes a good mom. And I just feel like she's just like this really stubborn, like strong character that like, and obviously she puts up fronts and stuff, especially in front of her kids because she wants to appear strong. But I just love the way she's written. I love Laurel as a character. Like she's so stubborn. You can tell she probably really struggled with motherhood at first, or maybe she didn't really want to be a mother. And then life happens and things happen, and then like you make the decision accordingly. But I feel like maybe that like throughout the show she even grows, like from season one to season three, like the way she supports her kids and like growing through understanding her kids. I just love it when people write a mom well, you know? And like I feel like she's always supportive of everybody, even Susanna's kids. Like she's always there for the boys, and no one really gives her enough credit. Nobody is really that appreciative of her, and that really pisses me off. Like it feels like everybody feels like, or everybody treats Laurel like she's just overbearing or she gets in the way, and that because she puts on like a strong front, nobody actually sees that she's in pain, and it really gets on my nerves. Like it really, really does. And I absolutely love her friendship with Susanna. It's like the most special and precious thing in the world. Like it's such an accurate depiction of what female friendship should be and is. And I honestly think it's beautiful. I just wish they were lesbians. I honestly wish Susanna and Laurel were lesbians, but I understand. Like that would have just made everything so much messier, you know? Like, can you imagine? Now, not only is Belly going between two brothers, but like their moms are together. Yeah, too much. That's too much. So, yeah, probably a good idea to not make them lesbians, you know? But yeah, like I said before, I can barely really remember season one, but what I do remember is the second Belly gets there, she like says hi to Conrad and Jeremiah, and like something is off this summer, like something's different. And obviously, it's because the summer Belly turned pretty, ding ding ding, you know. Now all of a sudden, the boys like her. And maybe they didn't like her before, or they saw her as annoying before because maybe before she wasn't pretty, you know? Um, yeah, I sort of remember them like hugging, and then like that night the boys are all going to a party, but of course they don't invite Belly because they still kind of see her as annoying. But Belly crashes the party anyway, and that's where she meets Cameron, I think, and both of them are super open and don't have any friends and end up talking to each other, and they hit it off. Perfect. But then I might be remembering this totally wrong, and feel free to check me if I am, but I feel like Conrad kind of embarrasses Belly in front of everybody, like tells her to go home and stuff, because he's mad and jealous that she's talking to somebody else, but he doesn't actually want to talk to her. Like, what a douchebag, what a jerk. This is why I don't like him. Like, this is exactly why I can't stand him. He really, really irritates and irks me. I'm not gonna lie to you. And this was the start of it. Like this exact scene. So irritating. But yeah. And then the date that Betty and Cameron go on at the the cinema drive-through things. Super cute. Like honestly, that's so cute. I wish we had things like that in the UK, like drive-through cinemas. I would for sure go to that. Like imagine the big screen of a cinema and like the microphones, no, not microphones, speakers in a cinema, but I get to enjoy it from my own car and not sit next to or hear any other people. Perfect. Perfect. I think I would really enjoy that, to be honest. Wish we had them. We don't. I don't think. But yeah. But of course, the boys have to crash and ruin Belly's little day. Like, they really do. They can't let her have anything. God forbid Belly have and enjoy anything that doesn't involve the boys. But at the same time, they don't want to include her in anything. Hey, got it, right. Okay. Like, they're all just really annoying. I think they're the most annoying in season one. I might have to retract that statement, but for now we're gonna say it. Um, but yeah, like God forbid Belly have anything. And then I remember Susanna convincing Belly to become a debutante this season. Her mom's totally against it because it's so not like Belly. And we all know Susanna likes to play dress up with Belly. Like, girl, she wanted a daughter, and like Belly's the daughter she never got, and she kind of treats Belly a little bit like a doll, but it's fine because Belly really loves it because she loves Susanna, you know. But yeah, Belly ends up like becoming the debutante, and I honestly think is good because the boys are not really including her. They're kind of treating her like she's annoying and that they don't really want her around and that she's irritating them. So she may as well go off and do her own thing, you know? And good for her. But it's just a bit like dressing and like wearing dresses and feminine etiquette and stuff like that about the debutante ball that I can't stand. I mean, I don't know if I can't remember if that's what it's about, but that's what I think it's about. I just know they have a ball at the end, okay? They just have to dance with someone at the end. That's all I know. But yeah, and pick out a dress, which is cute and fun. I would definitely do that for the dress, not gonna lie. But yeah. And I kind of remember like Steven gets together with one of the girls from the debutante or a debutante, and obviously, if you're dating them, you have to do the dance with them at the end. I don't know why I'm whispering, it's just kind of fun because I can hear myself in my ear. It's really distracting though. It's like, it's kind of difficult to talk because I can hear myself. Um, it's very strange. But yeah, and Conrad is also dating or seeing or like talking to a girl from the debutante ball, which kind of throws Belly for a loop. Like obviously she has the fattest crush on Conrad, and then Jeremiah has the fattest crush on Belly. You know, it's unrequited love all around. But hey, that's what this is all about. Because for some reason, teenagers always like, at least media makes out. I have no experience to speak on this, but I feel like for some reason teenagers always have to like the person that doesn't like them back. Like, what's wrong with actually liking someone who likes you? You know? What's wrong with that? But yeah. I remember there's like some kind of party happens. I think it happens in Beach House, like Belly's hosting or Susanna's hosting or something, but the debutante girls are there. And Belly gets really drunk. Maybe it's the 4th of July. I don't know. Something like that. There's definitely a party at the house. And Belly gets really drunk and she's kind of spiraling over Conrad being with someone else. And she ends up throwing up everywhere. And it's just like secondhand embarrassment. I hate feeling embarrassed. And like, I hate getting secondhand embarrassment from people. It's just the worst thing in the world. Like, I just want to bury myself alive. Like, go get out of there. Like, you can't show your face in front of anybody for like 2 days now. And then you have to just pretend like nothing happened after that. Because I'm not talking about it. Like, no people. I'm just not even going to address it. It didn't happen. Right? But yeah, like Billy just kind of spirals a bit over Conrad. I think the thing is, my memories are all muddled. I probably should have rewatched season one, but I really couldn't be asked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just couldn't be asked. But yeah. Meanwhile, Billy's spiraling over Conrad. Stephen has a girl, and then he kisses Taylor because Taylor's come to spend Belly's birthday with her. I think. I think that's the reason why Taylor's and cousins. And I think this happens at the same time as the party. I can't actually remember though. I might be chatting a whole load of wax. In which case, just ignore me. Okay? But he ends up kissing Taylor. He's got a whole other girl. Somebody snitches. I have a feeling it was Belly. I don't know. I just have an inkling. I have a feeling Belly ends up blurting it out that Stephen kissed Taylor in front of everybody, and then Stephen throws Taylor under the bus. Bruh. Like, what a coward. What a silly little sausage, you know? Stephen is like, he's not a bad guy. Like, he's not the worst dude. He's just irritating because he's just such a man. Like, Like, there's nothing actually wrong with him, or I mean, there is in this instance, but like overall, like he's not like a bad person. He's just irritating as hell. Like, something about him just annoys me. But yeah, um, that whole day, girl, was just a mess. Like, the whole thing was a mess because I think, yeah, Taylor gets thrown in the bus. Conrad probably leaves the girl, and it's all Belly's fault, kind of. Um, yeah, we're not doing good, guys. We're not doing good. Oh, yeah, and then obviously because Belly's a debutante, she has to have somebody to dance with, and she obviously wants to dance with Conrad. And I am picturing a scene in my head, and Conrad's teaching Belly how to dance or helping her to dance. I can't remember if it's a flashback and like they're younger, or it's like he's helping her practice for the debutante dance. Can't remember. I I just know Conrad doesn't actually take her to dance. Jeremiah does because Conrad's a little bitch, and Jeremiah is just better than him, especially when it comes to things like this. Like, Jeremiah doesn't let Belly down. Like, he's always there for her for this kind of thing, you know? And that's where Jeremiah earns points for me in my book. Like, he just does the things to make Belly happy and to make her feel like, I don't know. He doesn't he's not a disappointment basically. Conrad is. Just saying. Anyway, so Jeremiah is the one who ends up taking Belly to the dance, but in the middle of the whole thing, Jeremiah finds out that his mom's got cancer and nobody's told him. So he spirals, he leaves the dance, and Conrad does end up stepping in annoyingly, much to my annoyance, to be honest. It's just like every time I see him, I'm like, oh, do I have to look at you? Do you have to be on screen? Why are you here? You're just ruining it. Ruining it. But then you kind of find out that Conrad knew this whole time that his mom's got cancer. He just didn't tell anybody or couldn't tell anybody, and that's why he's been a moody little bitch this whole time because he's known, but he can't talk about it with anybody. So obviously he has to do his emotional, I don't even know what to call it. Like, he's like emotionally unavailable, sad boy, bad boy, Connie baby act that just really, really irks me. I don't know like how to express to you people how much this kind of stuff annoys me. Stop being a coward. Like, I just have no time for it and no respect for it. Let's get along. Just move on. Like, I don't even want to look at you anymore. You piss me off. Anyway. Anyways. But yeah, obviously. Have I missed something? I feel like I can't remember what order it happens in. But because Conrad was with that other girl and Belly kind of embarrasses herself in front of everybody, she kind of realizes Conrad just doesn't like me. Like, he actually just doesn't like me. And she kind of accepts that. Jeremiah sees that as his chance because he's a smart boy. So he's like, this is my chance to get my foot in the door. And Betty's kind of like, maybe I kind of like Jeremiah too. Maybe this whole time I haven't just liked Conrad. They end up kissing. I'm pretty sure they end up kissing. So like there was this little thing going on between Betty and Jeremiah. Steven sees them. I think this is before the debutante ball. Like, I genuinely think this is before. Steven sees them and he kind of says to Belly like, look, they're all our friends, so you need to be careful. Like, getting entangled like this, and then what if people's feelings get hurt? Like you're with Jeremiah, but everybody kind of knows that you've had this fat crush on Conrad the entire time. Like, what's going on? And just be careful. And Betty's like, yeah, I know. And what does she end up doing? Like, really messing up for everybody. Like, she really does, because she's kissed Jeremiah. The whole debutante ball thing happens. Conrad ends up dancing with her. Um, and then obviously, because Belly's kind of given up on Conrad now, now he chooses to show interest. Now he decides, hey, I kind of like you. Do you want to do anything? But Belly started this thing with Jeremiah. But of course, because Conrad's showing her attention, she drops Jeremiah like a stone. And obviously, that's gonna hurt Jeremiah's feelings. And like any normal person, gonna feel like, the hell? Like, what was that? Summer fling? Was that all I was? Until Conrad showed interest, and then yeah, it's kind of it's messy. Like, it's really messy. I was very stressed out. I'm not gonna lie, very, very stressed out, because I could just not handle this. I just couldn't. I block people and ghost people because I just, like, I no, don't even talk to me. Like, I don't want to know. But yeah, so I think season one kind of ends where everybody finds out about Susanna. Everybody's kind of sad because she's gonna pass away, and like she might not be able to get treatment and all of that. So it's really sad. But at least Conrad likes Belly, you know. Um, I feel like they start dating, or maybe they don't start dating. I don't know. But Conrad kind of confesses his feelings to Belly at the end of season one. Belly and Jeremiah never have a proper conversation. It just kind of gets left, and like I think Jeremiah's kind of pissed off. And then that's the end of season one, as far as I can remember. I might have missed a lot out. I don't know. Either way, you guys can fill me in or fill the comments in. Um, but yeah, I just feel like the show, especially season one, just kind of encapsulates like the universal experience of coming age, delusion, and romance, and what you think love is versus what it actually is, and how it's when you're a teenager, you think love is one thing, like it's this cinematic, like, oh my god, he fell in love with me. I'm gonna cut that out. Um, like it's like you feel like you think love is like this the most important thing. It's really not. Like, it should be on the bottom of the pile, especially romantic love. Like, okay. Anyways, it's kind of cute on screen, but in life, like I said, it's just exhausting. This kind of thing, like, if this happened to me, bro, I exhausting. I can't deal with drama. Like, I genuinely can't, and I can't deal with like people's feelings constantly getting hurt, or being worried about people's feelings, that kind of thing. I would just find the whole situation really, really exhausting. And I definitely block people. I definitely ghost people. I definitely would go into hiding for months on end and not really speak to anybody. Like, this just could not be me. Which is why it's so fun to watch, because it's not me. You know? Is that? But yeah. And I just feel like in the show a little bit, Betty's Betty kind of irritates me herself, like just the tiniest little bit. And I do feel like maybe it is like internalized misogyny a little bit, or maybe it's because like I see myself in her the tiniest amount. Like, her arc is just a little bit pick me. Like, she's surrounded by like boys like Conrad, Cameron, Jeremiah, like, and she's constantly kind of seeking their validation, attention, and she almost will do anything to get it, especially when it comes from Conrad. Um, it's kind of a little bit pick me, but it's also kind of sentimental, because I feel like every girl kind of goes through that era, and then you have to grow and learn not to be like that because it's so self-damaging. And she's also only 16 in season 1, I think, so she's very young, so you have to take that into account. But it was hard not to get irritated by her a little bit, but I think she's supposed to be just a tiny bit irritating because she's supposed to touch that part of you that you want to grow from. You know what I mean? You don't always want to be the desperate girl who's constantly looking for love. You feel me? Um, Especially not when you get older. But I do feel like it is normal, especially under like patriarchy and misogyny, for all women to go through a stage, or all young girls to go through a bit of a stage like that, because it's kind of how you train to be. But you are supposed to grow out of it. That's what's important, I think. But yeah, I just feel like sometimes this kind of thing gets romanticized when you're a teenager, and then you end up trying to unpack all the trauma you got from these kind of experiences in your 20s, like for sure. And maybe this isn't even just like a teenage thing, it's like first relationship thing, because you don't know what you want and you don't know what you need necessarily, not always, but and then you spend your 20s trying to unpack it in therapy, you know. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the title, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I feel like the author was very clever with wording the title. I feel like that was a very smart choice to make, The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's just kind of like how maybe Belly feels like she wasn't pretty before, and everybody treated her like she was some annoying little girl that was pushed to the side. And then this summer, like, things have changed a little bit because now people do think she is pretty, and like now the boy that she's always had a crush on is kind of paying attention to her, or eventually pays attention to her. The world definitely puts like pressure on women to be pretty, and I feel like the show kind of does, in a like a backgroundish way, like talk about that or tackle that. And like Belly for sure, like the shift between when she realizes this is the summer that like I'm pretty now, or this is the summer that boys kind of want me, like I feel like it is definitely a patriarchal, misogynistic trap. Like, because it just shows how girls are conditioned to think being desired by men equals like worth or value, when being desired by a man is like the cheapest thing in the world. Like, it's literally the cheapest thing in the world. Male validation is worthless at the end of the day, it really, really is. But the patriarch will have you think it's the most important thing in the world. It's not. Like, and thinking like that, thinking that male validation is important, literally puts you in a place, like a vulnerable place as a girl, because you'll kind of leave yourself open to being manipulated by men. And that's not really a position you want to be in. If you let men be the ones to tell you that you're pretty, like, girl, men have no idea. Like, men really don't know anything about what being pretty is. Like, leave that to the girls and the gays. They know, and they'll tell you, and it means something. So, there's that. But yeah. And like, I just think that I don't know if the show glamorizes it or it just talks about it, but it kind of like there's a lot of emotional whiplash that goes on, like the speed at which things happen. Like the drama goes from drama 5 minutes, drama, and it's just too much. It's like and I'm like, bro, slow down, calm down. I need 5 minutes by myself. Like, bro, I need to go sit down. Like, it's very high up when it comes to like emotional activity. I feel like it's an emotional workout. Not gonna lie. Yeah. There's a lot of confusing attention for affection and chaos with chemistry, which is fun to watch, but in the real world, it's not a good combination at all. It really isn't. So yeah, season one was cute. It was nostalgic. It was painful. It's really messy. I loved the moms, tolerated the boys, and I just wanted to shake belly half the time. Cause girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? Please. Yeah, kind of irritating, but yeah, was a lot of secondhand embarrassment for no reason. I feel like a lot, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Also, let me know whose team you're on. Are you team Connie Baby or are you team Jer Bear? Because I need to know. Like, I feel like that's the most interesting thing about this show. Like, whose side are you on? Um, me as of right now, I'm I don't really like anyone. I'm team Cameron, but if you held a gun to my head and asked me Jeremiah or Conrad, I'd probably say Jeremiah. Just because, for me personally, this is just my opinion. Don't, you know, do anything rash or violent. Conrad just gets my nerves. There's just something about him that irritates and irks me. He just gives me the ick. It's not my fault, okay? I just can't stand him. It's not that bad, but he just irritates me a little bit. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Right? Before we go, I kind of want to talk about a book that I've been very slowly reading called Invisible Women by Caroline Credo Perez. I really hope I said her name properly. Um, but yeah, progress with the book has been very slow just because um I've just been so busy with work and like everything else I have going on in my life right now. But I really do want to make more time to read. Because I really want to have finish this book. Like I've been reading it for ages, but that's besides the point. I just want to talk about the book in general and specifically like certain quotes from the book that we can go over because I think it's really interesting and I also think the things that she talks about in the book are very important, especially in today's like political and social climate. Um and honestly, maybe talking about it will motivate me to read it more, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, so the part that I want to discuss or just start a conversation about is the first chapter in the book. The first chapter is called The Default Male, and it kind of centers around this idea that society is structured around men being the default human being and women kind of being like some kind of like sub man, if that makes sense. Like men are the original and then women are just like men, just smaller and less important. And that's kind of how the world treats women and has viewed women for a very long time. And like society is kind of built around that idea, which is why women's issues and women's problems don't really get taken seriously is because men don't face them, and because men don't face them they're not really seen as important or necessarily real, if that makes sense, because of the way that women are viewed compared to men, right? So I believe that this sentiment that men are the default and women are some kind of sub niche category of man, um, I believe that that is the backbone of the patriarchy. Like the idea that it's mankind is the backbone of the patriarchy. It's not necessarily where it started, but it's what has held it up and kept it going for so long, right? The author in the book, especially in this chapter, or kind of discusses this, like, many ideas and many ways that this default male shows up in the way our society works. And one of them is through language, like using gendered language, and the fact that, like, when we refer to things like a doctor or a surgeon, we just say doctor or surgeon when it's referring to a man, but when we're referring to a woman, we say female doctor. This language in of itself kind of reinforces this idea that men are the default and women are some kind of niche subcategory of men, right? Because you don't need to define to me that the surgeon is male when he's male. You don't say male surgeon, you just say surgeon. But when the surgeon is female, or when the pilot of the plane is female, all of a sudden I have to know that they're a female pilot because it's not a man, right? And she goes on into quite detail about things like this, like how much language affects the way that we think, and how much it kind of, the fact that gendered languages have more misogynistic and patriarchal views because it separates the genders and defines them more through language, and that language shapes the way that we think. The book is very, very interesting, and I highly, highly recommend that everybody go read it so we can have good conversations about it. I think it would be so interesting, and honestly, it would bring me happiness and joy if I could have people to actually talk about these ideas with in a more serious and mature way. Um, but yeah, and that the that kind of idea of the default male, men don't even see it because they already view their experience and their perception as the default perception, especially white men, white cisgendered men. They don't really consider that other people have different perspectives and other people have different views and different experiences than they do, so they kind of dismiss anybody who disagrees or anybody who experiences the world differently. They kind of just dismiss them, and that dismissal may not at first be intentionally oppressive, but it can become oppressive, and in certain areas it is oppressive. But I do think that that dismissal is part of misogyny because it's a failure to recognize that women have individual needs. And to be honest, you can put this framework of thinking over any oppressive system, white supremacy, for example. White people see themselves as the default experience and the default perception of reality. And anybody who tells them that, hey, but we perceive things differently and we get treated differently, white people kind of dismiss them and pretend that that doesn't exist. And the same could be said for straight people and gay people. Like, one is the default and their dismissal can become oppressive. So this framework you can put over any oppressive systems. I think it is just a symptom of oppression and control, even when it's not necessarily intended to be so. It's just a symptom of a oppressive system, right? um this dismissal of men to women's experiences, it feeds misogyny because women's problems go unheard and unanswered and unaddressed in society, which means we get left behind, we become invisible. That's the title of the book, you know. And there's a specific quote from an activist called Simone de Beauvoir in the book, and the quote reads: "Representation of the world is the work of men. They describe it from their own point of view, which they confuse with the absolute truth." So, like, for so long, it's only relatively recently to human history where women have been allowed to be a part of anything. Men have told the history of human beings through their perception. Men have told science through their perception. Men have created religions based on their perception and their experiences. And then enforced all these things as the natural way and the natural order and how it is, when that just isn't true. And then we've built society around that. So society is inherently male biased. So then men confuse their experiences with the objective truth. And that is a very biased system. And I just think it's very interesting because to this day, you still get people who deny the existence of the patriarchy. If that isn't the definition of patriarchy, I don't really know what is, right? Um, but I just find the way that the author talks about things like it's so affirming because she never says anything in the book without providing proof and evidence and research. Like every other sentence she makes a point, and then there's proof, evidence, and research, dates, statistics, numbers, facts. Makes a point, has all the facts to back it up. Makes a point, all the facts to back it up. Next point. So she really breaks down how this is actually all happening in our society. And she doesn't just use the UK as example. She brings in almost like many, many different countries around the world and brings in stats and statistics from their countries. So it's a very solid book when it comes to explaining the frameworks and systems of how women get left behind in a male-centered and male-biased world. um it's just a very interesting book. I really, really do think everybody should go read it. But yeah, I think that in order to progress forward, because my goal is always progression and understanding and reaching a place where everybody gets treated with equality and equity. um, and I don't think progression is linear, nor do I think there is an end to it. The fallacy that progression has gone too far is a crazy concept to me. I don't think we should ever stop wanting to evolve and wanting to be better as people and as groups and as a society. I don't think that there's an ever an end to that, you know? I think as human beings, there's always something better that we could do. And isn't that a gift of our intelligence? And I think it's such a waste to pretend that we don't have that intelligence, that we are doomed to behave um like animals forever. Um and sometimes I think people who who don't believe in progression and don't believe in equality and justice for every human being, I think you're behaving like an animal. Um, and in which case, I don't understand why you get to see yourself on a pedestal above animals, and above certain groups of people when really you're acting very, very unintelligently. That's just my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, my goal is always progression. And I think it's important to notice these gaps in society and to try and come up with ways to fix them or work around them or build them up. Or even in some cases, knock systems down and start again with a new framework and a new system in the name of progress for all people. Um, but yeah, reading that chapter specifically really helped me articulate something that I've felt for a very long time. Like it's something that I've kind of always been aware of, that that's how men think, that that concept is the backbone of the patriarchy, but I never really was able to articulate it in such a way that the author does. Like the way she does, it's like there's no doubt about it, and she does it from a very neutral standpoint, which I don't always agree with because sometimes things aren't neutral. But I think for the sake of the book, it's a very good standpoint to have, and it helps like the book remain very clear. It's factually based. That's it, which I love. Um, but yeah, it gave me more of a modern definition for the patriarchy, or at least like helped me solidify what the patriarchy is so I can see it in front of me, because there are so many people that like to tell me that the patriarchy doesn't exist in the West anymore. Lies. It's just a little bit more hidden now, but it still very much exists. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and you wouldn't be trying to convince me that it doesn't exist. Yeah. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment below. Let me know if you have any ideas or anything to add, or if you have read the book, what you thought. Or if you are going to read the book, let me know. But yeah. That's it for today. I think that's it for this episode of Pretty and Dangerous. I hope you all had fun ranting with me over some fictional characters. Remember, this is all in good fun. Okay, it's just my opinions, some laughs, some jokes. I'd love if you shared your opinions in the comments with me. Next episode, I'm going to be doing season 2 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm probably gonna be following a similar format for the episode, just because I want to talk about things, guys. But yeah, don't forget to stay pretty and stay dangerous, and don't take from society. Peace and thanks. Love you, and I'll see you soon.